Hi, I'm Clifton Taylor, and also known as professional wrestler Apex. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew. I had an absolutely wonderful time. Keith is doing a great job with his podcast. He's a true inspiration. I cannot wait to see what he does in the future. Thanks for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Keith Andrew, and welcome to another episode of the Keith Andrew Network that's available on the bottom of the screen. You can see where it's listed. It's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all social media. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm here with professional actor and professional wrestler. He already introduced himself in the beginning of the show. So with that being said, I have 26 hard-hitting questions for you. You can throw it back at me, ask me anything you want. PG-13. So the first one, we're going to start off with icebreakers.
All right.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, about me, Clifton Taylor. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yep, as you said, I am an actor. I'm a professional wrestler. My professional wrestler name is Apex with 2 X's. And so primarily I wrestle out of the Midwest. I train under former WWE superstar and former Mr. Money in the Bank winner, Mr. Kennedy. But yeah, so then I have 2 kids here, so I'm really I'm just a dad, and that's really about it.
Funny you should mention Anderson. He was actually a guest on my talk show.
Oh, great. Oh, that's
Fantastic interview.
awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That is so great. I'm gonna run that by him. That is so great. Yeah, I'll be seeing him on Monday. So
It's funny. I told him when I interview wrestlers, there's no actually a green screen effect. So while you're talking, you know how you watch Raw or SmackDown or NXT, and for the title match, the title will appear on the screen.
yeah.
Well, someone turn that into a green screen. There's belts I still need to get. But for Mr. Anderson, I was like, okay, you're a former Intercontinental champion, you're a former United States champion. So as he's talking, the belts show up on the screen. I'm like, well, it makes sense. You are a former champion. Why not show off some of your accolades?
Yep, yep. Ah, cool.
There's some other belts I'm still waiting on. I'm waiting for, see, I have the Intercontinental, United States, WWE. I have the Raw tag in the SmackDown titles. I mean,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to do. I give you an example. I wanted to interview Paul Buchanan. He was someone I was talking to. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, it would be cool. While I'm talking to Paul Buchanan, the SmackDown title will show up. I mean, yes, it's the WWE Tag Team title, but if you look at it, it's a SmackDown tag title, and he wasn't really tag team champion on SmackDown.
Hmm.
He, overall, I'm not like a wrestling mark or anything. I mean, it's the same belt, WWE Tag Team Champion, WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champion. It's the same belt, but I
Yeah,
mean, if you're gonna do it right, you might as well do it professionally, right?
correct. Correct.
So the next one I want to talk to you about, the first question I want to ask you, what attracted you to begin your career as a professional actor and professional wrestler?
Well, very good question. Actually, as far back as I can remember, I was really involved in both of them. I remember I must have been 4, I want to say, and it was WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. That was the one, that was the spectacle that really got me going. And from there, I was a Hulkamaniac at a little 4-year-old. And And so through the years, yeah, I was just captivated by the spectacle of these larger than life performers and these characters. And it was like a real life comic book or cartoon, right? And that's fascinating for kids. And so as the years went on, with that, when the time came to where I had the opportunity to do it myself, I had to, right? Because I do feel that um, everybody should have goals for their future, and you should shoot for your dreams and try your hardest because you never know what could happen, you know? So when the time came in 2017, I saw that the school was open in St. Paul here in Minnesota, and I went straight out there and got myself signed up, and we haven't looked back. And then as far as acting as well was something that I gravitated towards at a very young age. I was always kind of the class clown. I got into theater very young, and in all the school plays, local plays, and that's something that I did up until high school. And then after high school, I stepped away for a while, and got back into it just over the last couple of years, actually. But so that is something right now that I am just building, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. So,
Have you accomplished everything that you wanted to in your current acting career against your wrestling career?
um, no, I haven't. I have not. In either one of those professions have I really gotten to where I want to get to. So for wrestling, I still have some matches I still want to get under my belt, and also Ken Anderson's school, the Academy. It is a goal of mine to get a certificate from there. So I still want to. I'm still working on graduating from there. And as far as acting, this is really just the start, Keith. And I just want to keep working hard at it, and I just want to continue getting better. And I think that my work and my dedication will just get me to where I want to be. So I absolutely love the entertainment business. It's what gives me thrill in life, outside of my normal day-to-day stuff at home. So really, like I don't need fame. I don't need to be in Hollywood or anything, but if that's where the road takes me, I'm more than happy to go along for the journey. So,
Now, because Ken Anderson is a mutual friend of both of ours, let's talk about his school. Now, you mentioned you are a professional wrestler, obviously, but does he offer any other things like if you want to be a ring announcer,
yep.
broadcast announcer? What can you tell us about the school?
Yeah, so at the Academy School of Professional Wrestling in St. Paul, Minnesota, you can train for whatever you want. You can be a valet, you can be the professional wrestler, you can be a ring announcer, you can be a manager, you can be a referee, whatever you want. We do it all there. And so uh, you can also, with our school, if you want, you can book like an hour of one-on-one time with Ken so that you can focus on just something that you just want to focus on rather than having it to be in class setting with everyone else. Um, but yeah, there is whatever your heart desires in the business, Ken will teach it, and he will do everything he can to get you where you want to go. So he has all he's got the Rolodex with uh, every name in the wrestling world in there, and he's got it all at his fingertips. So he's a very good source, and very good coach to have by your side. So,
You know, little hint of the show, we're going to talk about disabilities. Is there anyone that you work with that happens to have, or am I happen to be the first? Is there anyone that you happen to work with who, I'll give you an example I made. If, say, hypothetically, someone with a learning disability wants to be a professional wrestler or anything that I'm doing, I want to be a ring announcer,
yep.
broadcast announcer. The first question is there opportunities for people with disabilities? And two, have you worked with people with disabilities?
Yes. Yes, and yes. Yes and yes, Keith. There is room for anyone. And that's just it. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if you have a learning disability. If your passion is to be in the wrestling business, trust me, the wrestling business is going to love you right back and want you in it as well. Okay? If you're if you're passionate about it, trust me, that business is going to want you in it because if that's your passion, you're going to make that business better. So you're darn right. There are people training right now at the academy with disabilities, learning disabilities, physical disabilities. I was just out at a show a couple weeks ago with a gentleman who I'm not sure what exactly the physical limitation was, but basically his legs don't really work. But I'll tell you what, he was out there performing a full-on match in under his ring name and everything. It was amazing, you know. So yeah, yeah. If you have a passion for it, there's a place for you. That's for sure.
Now, the next subject I want to talk about is the coronavirus. How has the coronavirus impacted your life, and do you see life in a different point of view?
With Corona, um, so I was one that I was out of work for 1 month from that, and then we had to go back to work. Um, uh, You know, if anything, I would just say it should just heighten people's awareness of illness and health. So, you know, we've lost family members from it. Um, you know, I'm not personally one who's going to throw on a mask and run out the door right away, you know, but I think it's practicing just practicing normal hygiene. I think that we learned as young kids, right? I think is the best thing you can do. Because I still believe that there's a threat with stuff like that. But so much of that I do feel is out of our control until um, you know, the time happens. So I think it's really just a matter of, like I said, just practice hygiene. Let's wash our hands. Let's cover our mouths when we cough, right? Let's not cough into our hand and shake each other's hands and uh, how has it affected you, Keith?
Now, for me, I would recommend you getting vaccinated. I got my COVID shot 2 weeks ago. Uh, Another 2 weeks ago, I got my flu shot. So it's always you get them 2 weeks apart. You don't get them
Okay.
all together. So for me, I go out. I wear the mask when I go see the doctors. Otherwise, I really don't like wearing the mask. But if I'm going to like a crowded place, like you should with now, I'm not saying it's not more relaxed because you get your shot, either for the flu or COVID. So if you get sick, it cuts your risk down versus the other people who are like, walking disease carriers. So it's
Hmm.
always important to just if be mindful if you're going into a hospital, especially this time of the year. There's flus going around, there's stomach
Hmm.
viruses going around. This time of the year, you should be wearing a mask. If you're outdoors and it's the summertime, then you're outdoors, so it doesn't really make a difference. But certain places, yes, you should be wearing a mask. Has it affected me? Not really. I used to work over at Walmart, and because I live at home, I didn't want to bring anything back to my parents, so I'll be held responsible. So I now work from home and I do my talk show. And it's pretty much like you said, just be responsible and be a little more considerate when it comes to diseases.
Hmm.
But the next thing I do actually want to talk to you about, have you ever want to work for TNA Wrestling, WWE, AEW? Was there a company that you wanted to work for?
So originally it was my goal to work for WWE. And that's in any aspect, in any form. I just wanted to be able to work for them. As time has gone on, the visions have changed, the goals have changed. With my wrestling career, I've had some injuries that I've sustained. I've broken my leg in the ring, blew up my shoulder, tore my rotator cuff. I had things happen. I had health issues that kind of pulled me back, and then just being honest with myself, Keith, I'm 43 years old now. So, right, I'm way late in the game already. So, actually, I don't have a goal to work for any of them big companies. Um, Really, the only goal I truly have as far as wrestling, my only real goal is graduating from Ken's school. And then I got some people that I do want to have matches with, but no WWE, no TNA. Unless a contract was thrown on the table for a big chunk of change, and I said, "Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, I'm all yours." But no, I'm not working towards that right now. Right now, my focus is to get back to wrestling, to go out on my own terms, and then focus on my acting career.
It's funny you should mention it. The next question I want to ask you is what are some of the best advice you got from the acting world and the professional wrestling world?
So that's really great because I was actually asked this question a couple weeks ago. And I'm gonna go with the same answer because it pertains to both professional wrestling and acting. So it's something I learned originally in wrestling, but it also, like I say, it pertains to both. So it is really simple, and it is just to slow down. Slow down. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you think you're going slow, don't slow down even more. And that's just from a nerves, your nervousness standpoint, right? For wrestling, especially when you first start, you get in and you get your first couple matches in and you get out in front of that crowd and oh my goodness. And yeah, and you have a tendency to be moving really, really quick, just trying to get through everything, right? And rather than slow down, let the audience register what you're doing. And the same goes with acting as well, though, because if you were to get in front of a camera and just act out a whole scene really quick, well, the viewer doesn't even know what you just did because they never got to, none of it got to soak in and they got to register what you were just doing. So again, in acting too, as well as slow down, uh, pacing. Um, yeah.
What are some of your career highlights?
Career highlights, I would say for wrestling, career highlights would be my very first match was against a gentleman named Paul Verk, who I hold in have a lot of respect for. In the state of Minnesota, he's a big name, and for me to be able to go one-on-one against him for my very first match was humongous. A couple more from wrestling was winning the United States Championship for All Out Pro Wrestling last year, and then I have got to not only go against but tag team with another gentleman whose name is Mitch Paradise. He's been doing his thing here in the Midwest for a couple decades. And so that was something that was on my list. And not only did I have to go against him, but then I also got to tag with him too. So that was really cool. As far as acting, you know what? Everything that I do is a new high for me. Um, so as of right now, movies are starting to be released as we got more projects coming up, which is very exciting. Um, but yeah, as of right now, it just with acting, it's every time I get on set and I meet new people and I get to network with new people, I just everything about it just seems to be like a new life high for me. Um, yeah, every day has been a true gift here, Keith. So just really blessed, buddy.
Well, let me ask you this. With everything that you accomplish, how comfortable are you teaching like a younger generation everything you learn? Like, how comfortable would you be teaching me everything you know about being a wrestler and actor? And would you be comfortable talking in front of a group of people?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, I'd be comfortable. I'm good around people. I think one of my strengths is actually being a leader and teaching, being that role model for people, being a big brother. I enjoy doing that stuff. It's something I do take pride in. So yeah, I would be more than comfortable doing it, and I would love to share my knowledge with anybody and help somebody else out. So.
What are some of your, well, let me ask you this in a different way. What are some of the best acting roles and wrestling roles you had in your career so far?
Let's see here. So for wrestling, I would say it was my favorite was when I got to go against Mitch Paradise as the bad guy. That was my favorite. That one was just personally a special one for me. As far as acting, I think with acting so far, I want to say it was wrestling, acting with Beatrice Buckley. She I got to act with in Friday the 13th Blood Loss, which we have the premiere coming up this next month in New York. But she is mostly known for playing Amanda Kruger, Freddy Krueger's mom in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. And that was a big movie for me growing up as a kid. So for me, when I got to share the screen with her, for me, that little kid got to fanboy a little bit, and that was really neat. That was a big accomplishment. But again, as far as acting, it's also new and fresh. They're all highlights.
Now, for social media, how can our fans and listeners get in touch with you? Are you on Facebook? Obviously, you're on Facebook. Are you on Facebook, I went again. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. Do you use any of those social medias?
So primarily just Facebook and Instagram. So on both Facebook and Instagram, I do have an account for uh my regular everyday or my acting profile, and then I have my wrestling profile. So on Facebook, you can find me at Clifton Taylor. And then you can find my wrestling profile, which is all capital letters. It's Apex, APEXX. And then on Instagram, for my acting profile, it is at all lowercase Clifton, the number 13, Taylor. And then for my wrestling profile, it is at lowercase I dot AM dot APEXX. So I or at I dot M dot Apex.
No, wonderful. Now, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
When you first approached me, I was just in more interested on who is Keith Andrew. Then I read a little bit about you, and I thought, well, my goodness. You may be asking me to be on your podcast, but you're the star here. You're the real inspiration here, Keith. And so absolutely honored. Absolutely honored. Nope, absolutely honored. So I can't thank you enough for this. This is definitely a highlight of my week right here.
No, I agree with you. And that's the biggest one of the arguments. Yes, I wear filter glasses because I blink when I talk. Plus,
Mhm.
it helps me relax. Plus, I know it helps me direct where the camera is too.
Sure.
But one of the things that recently has been really antagonized to me is when I invite people to be on my show, they automatically like, "Whoa, why you want to interview me? I thought your show was about disabled people. Well, I thought it was only disabled people being on your show." And I keep saying, I'm a talk show host with a disability, but by being on the show, you're supporting me and my message.
Hmm.
But it isn't about me. It's about the guests I'm giving you the best interview experience, share your stories and your passions, whatever. So for the half hour, yes, you're getting something out of it. I'm getting something out of it. It's a transaction. Yes, you're
Exactly.
supporting a host with a disability, but I'm also supporting you in your journey. If
Hmm.
for some reason that likes to become a freaking argument, like, well, I don't know if I'm a right fit. Well, I don't know if at the end of the day, I want you to be honest. My last part of my question for that was, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to, the last question is, would you recommend it to people?
Oh, let's see here. Well, how do I feel now? I mean, I'm just glad. I'm glad that we have this opportunity, Keith. Like you're saying though, this is um we both benefit from this, right? So we both benefit from this. And this is great because I can't wait for maybe people that I know who don't know of you who get to watch this and get to experience this, or anybody out there who can see this and find some motivation from it or inspiration from it and say, oh, wow, I really wanted to try this. Maybe I should give it a shot now, right? Um, but yeah, as far as I'm sorry, what was the last question? The last question is advice.
Well, let me rephrase it. It's what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it?
Okay, so what made me say yes, ultimately was just when I saw your passion and what you're doing here. I just thought that was great. So obviously I'm going to say yes. And that's just me supporting you. Of course, so I say yes to that. How I feel now, yep, I'm just blessed that we have this opportunity for sure. Um, and I would just urge everybody out there, anybody who is living your life, believe in yourself, love yourself. Okay. At the end of the day, we are all we have, and we got to treat ourselves good. Um, so watch your mental health. If you need help, find it for yourself. Um, you know, just I just want people out there to know that they are loved and they are needed. So that's really my only message for people. Be
One thing
good to
I would
yourselves.
say, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope, just be good to yourselves. That's all, Keith.
You know, a lot of people like to make different quotes and everything, but this one sounds pretty interesting. Lead with love, not hate. Do what you love. And as long as you're happy and you're making an impression on someone's life, as my hero said, I have many heroes. I love Dragon Ball, but my favorite professional wrestler, hands down, he's one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's the man, the greatest. Bret the Hitman Hart. And what he said in his speech on 2006, it doesn't matter if you have hundreds of fans, millions, or one. If you make that impression on that one person, that's all that matters. And he made
All
an
right.
impression on me.
Yep.
Well, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. Wrapping up, our goal is to reach 500 and more views. So, everyone watching, you're obligated to leave a comment for me, our guests. Both of us are obligated to share this on all social media. So, this will be shared on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, every single group out there. Like I said, once we reach 500 and more, we will definitely do a part two. With that being said, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.